What's up, Radiant Icons, and welcome back to Dare to Be Iconic, the podcast made for icons daring to be themselves. I'm your host, Amanda Policelli, and for today's Tea Time Sesh, we're going all the way back. We're going all the way back to the first episode of season 2. But before we get into that, make sure to connect with me on socials. On Instagram and TikTok, it's at Amanda Policelli _ and at Dare to Be Iconic _ and if you're on LinkedIn, because you know I love me some LinkedIn, it's at Amanda Policelli. All my socials will be linked in the show notes below. And also, Radiant Icons, I cannot believe it, but tomorrow, February 13th, Dare to Be Iconic's first ever merch drop, Radiant Love, the Iconic Collection, will be live. It will be all yours, and I am just so excited to see everyone rocking their Radiant Icon pride. If you do get merch, make sure to tag me in photos and Dare to Be Iconic so I can repost it, share it, and just see you guys wearing the merch. I am just so excited to hear your opinion, and I hope you love it as much as I do. Now let's get to the tea, shall we? Okay, Radiant Icons. I have so many new Radiant Icons listening to the podcast. Hello, welcome. I'm so excited you are here. But because of that, I thought it would be fun in this little mid season break that we are having before brand new episodes drop on March 12th to do some episode reruns with you guys. Some of my favorite episodes from season 2 and 1. Yes, we're going all the way back to season 1 too, you guys. Yep, those are going to be a little bit hard for me to listen to, but you know what? We're going to do it. So for today's Tea Time Sesh, we're going back to the beginning of season 2, the season 2 premiere. Dare to Rise, iconic breakthroughs and overcoming self-doubt. Because what better way to welcome all the new Radiant Icons than give them a little backstory, a little taste of this new evolution of the pod. Season 2 was the beginning of really tough and hard conversations for myself, and I know I've said that a lot on this podcast for this specific season, but that is the truth. So what better way to welcome all the new Radiant Icons and also say hello to my OGs than to bring you guys back to the season 2 premiere, where I really started to push myself in having those challenging conversations. So I hope you enjoy this episode rerun of Dare to Rise, iconic breakthroughs and overcoming self-doubt. Are you ready, Radiant Icons? Because your Tea Time Sesh is starting now.
1 year of Dare to Be Iconic. Like, Dare to Be Iconic is turning 1 years old. And if you would have told me 2 years ago, when I saw that letter in a box at my front door, that this would be the life that I have now because of that letter in a box, I would laugh in your face. I would tell you, you're crazy, that's insane, absolutely not, what are you talking about? Because that Amanda, at that point in her life, was so broken and so lost. And I went back in all my journals because you guys know I love to write. I love my journals. I went back to my journal from that day 2 years ago. And I wanted to read it on here just so we can get to the perspective of how much not only have I grown, but Dare to Be Iconic has grown and everything I've learned. So, October 10th, 2022. Wow, I'm getting emotional already. Okay. My first major heartbreak. I am blindsided and hurt and confused, and I'm trying to pick up the pieces of a relationship that I thought would enter me into the next stage of my life. I'm trying to find the gratitude, but I cannot. He wants no contact with me, and I'm just lost. I love him, and he's my best friend, but I am apparently not his. Ooh, that makes me so sad. Like, even reading it and like saying it out loud, because I remember when I opened the front door that day and seeing that letter in a box and being like, what's going on? And I remember when I read that first line of the letter, how broken I was and how I felt like my whole world just like came crashing down around me. And I know that he treated me like that because he wanted to hurt me. And that's okay. In full confidence, I can say that my ex boyfriend hurt me by leaving that letter in a box because that's what he wanted to do to me. But it was how I took that hurt and how I took that pain and made it into something so powerful and amazing, which is Dare to Be Iconic. And I always get asked all the time, oh, how do you feel? Like, have you heard anything from him? I can't believe he ever did that. But you know what, Amanda? That is the best thing he ever did to you. That is the best thing he ever did, was leave you the way that he did. And I agree. I agree wholeheartedly that the best thing he did was leave me. The best thing he did was treat me the way that he did because it gave me the strength to want to better myself and better my life because I've created my dream life because of the pain that he put me through. And if there is one thing about me, you guys, and I know you guys probably know this about me, but if there is one thing about me, I will never let a man dictate how I see myself. I will never let a man dictate how my life is going to go. Absolutely not. If anything, I'm going to take that and turn that into something that is powerful and something that is a strength of mine. And that's exactly what I did. And that's exactly what I do with every little motif or theme that you see in Dare to Be Iconic. It is something that a man has used to belittle, degrade, and demean me. The tea time motif was because my ex stage manager used to call me a chimosa. And in Spanish, like that means gossiper. He used that as a negative way to belittle my thoughts and my feelings. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna make it into a tea time sesh. My ex boyfriend wants to leave me with a letter in a box. Okay, yeah, it's gonna spark the entire idea of my business. And I'm gonna use the letters and the box as many times as I want because you know what? I'm gonna reclaim that. You wanna break up with me on October 10th? Guess what? That's the anniversary of my business. Period. I will never, ever let a man dictate and define how I see myself and how I see my life. I think that is the biggest thing that I've learned from Dare to Be Iconic is that no matter how much hard shit is thrown your way, you can persevere. You can find a way out of it and make it into a source of strength. And all it takes is finding that intrinsic motivation to want to get to the other side. This past year has been filled with so many blessings. There have also been some really hard shit that I've had to deal with and I've had to push through and I've had to learn from. So, we're going to talk about the lessons that I've learned within a year of running my own business. One of the biggest challenges is self doubt and imposter syndrome. Like, everyone I know, no matter what you are doing with your life, deals with imposter syndrome and self doubt. And when you are an entrepreneur and when you are a young entrepreneur, I think it's amplified more than you can even imagine because you're in that tricky transitional phase of your life where you are the adult in the room for the first time and everyone's looking at you for the answers and you're just like, I'm just a girl. Cause like literally me all the time, but like genuinely, I'm just a girl, but I'm also the adult. So people are going to look to me for the answers. And then when you run your own business for the first time and you're building it from scratch, the buck stops with you and it starts with you. Everyone will look at you for the answers and you have to figure it out. That's just the reality of it. I've definitely seen the spike in self doubt and the spike in imposter syndrome when opportunities are presented to me because I think that I don't deserve them. Even though I know that I work my ass off, I still think, I'm not meant to be in that room. Mm, that opportunity they found me, how is this a mistake? It has to be a mistake. It's like I don't believe in all the hard work that I've been putting behind Dare to Be Iconic that's presenting me with these opportunities. It's like I almost don't believe in myself. Like, why do we do that to ourselves? Like, genuinely, I don't know why we discredit all the hard work and passion and determination we put behind the stuff that we love. Why do we not believe that we belong in the rooms that we're in? Why do we not believe that people are going to notice the stuff we're doing? Like, why do we believe in that? And I think that is the biggest hurdle I've had to work through this year alone. My biggest piece of advice when it comes to overcoming imposter syndrome and self doubt is you need to have that open and honest conversation with yourself. Whether that's talking to yourself in a mirror, I know that sounds crazy, but trust me, it does work. Journaling, or like recording a voice note on your phone. Every little thing that's going on in your brain, you need to get it out. Whether you write it, speak it out, whatever you got to do, you got to get it out. Doing it that way, you're able to dissect and get to the core of it. And once you get to the core of those emotions, you're able to truly, truly see how you can combat them. Another thing I've learned on this journey is that people will try to put you in boxes when they don't understand what you're trying to do. And that's okay if it doesn't make sense to them. It only needs to make sense to you. As long as you keep going towards your dreams, as long as you keep chasing them and putting in the hard work behind them, that's all that matters. No one else needs to understand your vision for things. And that is the biggest lesson that I have learned because throughout the journey of building Dare to Be Iconic for this first year, I've had a lot of people either hate it, doubt it, doesn't make sense to them, all these other things, right? But you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. It makes sense to me. And the moves and the choices that I'm making make sense to me because I know the bigger picture for my business. And that's all that matters. You need to believe in yourself. It kind of goes in turn with this self doubt, right? You need to believe in yourself, but when you're making these decisions and people don't understand it, that's when the imposter syndrome and self doubt creeps in. You're like, oh my God, am I really making this the right decision? But you are. You are because you know what's right for you. Other people's opinions, what they think of you, what they think of what you're doing, it's none of your business. It's truly none of your business. It doesn't concern you what other people think about you. The only thing that matters in this lifetime is what you think about yourself. So why not go after the dreams that you have in your heart? Why not work really hard to make them a reality? And if someone doesn't understand it and if someone doesn't like it, oh well, do it anyway. And I think that's kind of the mindset shift that happened for me. Okay, Radiant Icons, that is our tea time sesh for today. But before we go, we are introducing our newest segment for the Dare to Be Iconic podcast, which is the Dare to Be Iconic hotline. In this hotline, you guys will be submitting your questions, your advice requests, literally everything and anything you want to ask me and get my opinion of. You ask it at the Dare to Be Iconic hotline. So let's get into it. Hi there, Amanda. I was wondering about the process about realizing that you're embracing your inner icon and how empowering that can feel. I think for me, when it comes to embracing your inner icon or embracing your most iconic self and that process of it, it comes down to the Dare to Be Iconic mindset, which is based off of 4 pillars. So it's trust, determination, confidence, and authenticity. And as I mentioned in the secret to living your most iconic life. And I will link that episode in the show notes for you guys to listen back to. But when it comes to that Dare to Be Iconic mindset, is not a one stop done deal, right? Like you're like, oh, I hit all these 4 pillars. I've learned all about it. Oh, I'm good to go. I'm done with learning. Absolutely not. That's not how it goes. This Dare to Be Iconic journey and this process of evolving and embracing your iconic self is a continuous journey of learning because we are ever evolving as human beings. And I know for me, trust will always be a pillar that I will struggle with, but also learning more about myself within that trust aspect has been so liberating and so empowering because I truly feel like I have been able to come into my own because I'm able to have a strong sense of who I am while I'm working through these 4 pillars in my life and connecting them back to, life lessons that are happening or experiences that are happening. And so I just encourage you guys to apply those 4 pillars into your life and kind of see which ones you need to work more on and which ones that, what, I'm pretty good on those so far, but you know what? Like we're going to keep learning about them. So I would just go back to that Dare to Be Iconic mindset and those 4 pillars and just see how they connect to your daily lives and just live your most iconic life from there. Hey Amanda, I'm starting my first year of college in the next few weeks. What's the best advice for a beginner like myself? I'm super nervous and not sure what to expect. My biggest advice for freshmen in college. This is actually really funny because my second year of college, so my first job while I was at UCF, I was an SLS 1501 peer mentor. So I basically was a mentor for college freshmen and helping them in their transition from high school to college. And that's actually where I met my ex-boyfriend. So, but my biggest piece of advice when it comes to starting college, stay true to yourself. I know that's very cliche, but it's very, very true. And also remember why you're there and time management. So, staying true to you. I feel like there are all these outside pressures of how you should go about college. And frankly, that traditional way, or maybe not even traditional, the way that it's perceived of how college should be and like that experience of college is not the right way for everyone. And I feel like sometimes all that societal pressure of how college should be and this is how the experience is for la la la, like it kind of makes people who don't fit into that way of going about college feel like they're missing out. And I'm here to tell you that you're not. I was the complete opposite of how it's portrayed in movies. I did not go out every night. I did not go out drinking. Like, I was such a nerd, you guys. I was such a nerd. I was always studying. I was always in shows. Like, I was such a nerd. But my point with this is because I wasn't living the traditional college life of going out all the time or going to all the games and having this like huge, big social life, I always felt like I wasn't living the full college experience when in reality, I was doing what was right for me and I was staying true to me. And yes, I like to go out occasionally. Yes, I go out to the football games when I can, but what was important to me in that moment was my degree and why I was there, which was to walk across that stage and get the diploma. And even though I didn't get to walk across the stage because of COVID, I always went back to my why. And it was I'm there to get my degree. I'm there to soak up as much information as I can because if I'm paying all this money to get a diploma, I better soak up all the information that I can and make the most of my experience. And then on top of that, like you just need to stay true to who you are. There are a lot of peer pressure situations, and you just have to remember your morals and your values and your beliefs, and you need to stand firm in them. And I think college is a great place to like expand your horizons and, learn new things, but you need to stay true to you. And then time management. I think with college, you have all this freedom, to literally do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. And sometimes you kind of forget to take care of yourself. You kind of forget that you actually have responsibilities. You just need to know how to manage your time effectively and you need to stay true to yourself and you need to make decisions that are right for you and not for anyone else. You also need to realize that everyone is going to go through college in their own way that's true to them.
All right, Radiant Icons, that is your tea time sesh for today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode rerun of Dare to Rise iconic breakthroughs and overcoming self doubt. One of my favorite episodes in season 2, and it truly did start the trajectory of challenging myself this season. So I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to subscribe, to leave a rating, a review, a comment, to tell your friends about us, to honestly tell everyone and anyone because we love more Radiant Icons in our iconic community of ours. But anywho, I will speak with you guys next week. Remember, Radiant Icons, dare to be iconic. Bye.